All right, we're back on sports. You know what? The things I've seen over the weekend, absolutely just hilarious and stupid. Just, I don't understand. And we're going to start off with what we talked about last week, because in the comments we talked about this, over the weekend as well, about Tom Brady and DeflateGate. Now, I want to start off with that due to the fact that, people, you have to understand, all right? Some Patriots fans came in and were like, I don't feel it was called for, things of that nature. That's fine. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I'm not going to jump on you for that. I personally feel as though they cheated. Hey, but like I said last week, I don't think that deflating those balls would have stopped them from going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they were. I think they would have won that game regardless, okay? Now, I will say this, okay? Since we have seen that, I just find it funny that Patriots fans would make a GoFundMe page. You've got to be kidding me. A GoFundMe page for the Patriots because, as you know, they had $1 million fine. They had draft picks taken away, whatever. Brady suspended for 4 games. And I'll say this now. We know that Brady is going to appeal, as we already know it's in the process. And more likely he's going to negotiate, his games down to 2 games as opposed to 4. You cannot sit here and tell me if he does not win that appeal that the NFL coincidentally is bringing back Tom Brady in that week against the Colts, his first time back that season against the Colts, during the Deflategate. No, I'm not trying to hear it, all right? That is not a coincidence. I'm not trying to hear that. However, all right, a GoFundMe page. Really, Patriots fans? And you know what? I have to say this now as a disclaimer. It's not all Patriots fans. Because what I've seen over the weekend, Patriots fans are pissed. And they're embarrassed by this type of stuff. And there's a fan that had made a GoFundMe page. And you know what? At first it seemed like diehard fan, but just a stupid fan. Now it just feels like it's just publicity. That's what it is, a publicity stunt. Because he goes on to say that, we know that we're not going to raise $1 million for the Patriots. Mind you, the Washington Post came out and made an article and said, you know what, Patriots fans, the Patriots don't need your help due to the fact that the franchise is worth $2.6 billion. They don't need your help with a fine. But the Patriots, they haven't said anything, have they? No, they haven't. Tom Brady, has he said anything? Millionaire quarterback Tom Brady, does he need help? No, he doesn't. I don't understand why Patriots fans feel as though you have to do this. And in the GoFundMe comments, $16,000 already raised. It's amazing to see the comments and how stupid fans can be. It is. But you know what? The funny part is, before all this in the GoFundMe, I believe there was comments at one point. Fans were eating them alive. Now, of course, the comments are gone, and the only people that are commenting really are the the donators. Now, here's the thing, okay? With the donators, if you read their comments, I don't believe the media. I don't believe anything that they're saying. What the hell has the media anything to do with this? What do they have to do with this? Because this was an NFL investigation. This has nothing to do with the media, okay? So for them to be like, I don't believe the media. This is why I'm giving you $15 for the Patriots because I'm a diehard Patriots fan. You've got to be kidding me. That has nothing to do with the media. And we've seen this time and time again because Patriots fans, while people are joking on them and bagging them, there's other Patriots fans who are very pissed off because they're like, wait a minute, you guys didn't step up and donate during the Boston Marathon when the bombing happened, but you'll donate to this. Like, Patriots fans are pissed. Like, a lot of them. Like, seriously pissed. And I have to say this now because we're seeing more stupidity as it comes along. Look how they went to protest. That's right, Patriots fans went to protest about this fine. Y'all realize there's only like 4 idiots out there protesting, right? I'm just saying. Now I'll put it like this, all right? This is a good example of what I meant from before. We've talked about this for years. How you have a diehard fan base, and it only takes a couple idiots to mess up and embarrass that fan base. This is the time. You've got to be kidding me that you were sitting out there and protesting. Hate us because they ain't us. Really? That's where you want to go? Because I'll put it like this, okay? I don't recall anybody hating the Patriots for the way the Super Bowl ended. If anything, people were laughing at the Seattle Seahawks for blowing it. Not because they hated the Patriots for winning. No, it wasn't that at all. So for you to say, hate us because they ain't... Stop. Just stop. Okay? You're making yourselves look bad. And I have to say this to those idiots who donated, because like I said before, it's not all Patriots fans. Just towards those idiots who donated and protested. Because I haven't seen anything on NBC Sports. I haven't seen anything on ESPN. I haven't seen anything on Fox Sports. I haven't seen anything on CBS Sports. I haven't seen anything on the news. I haven't seen anything on Google or any type of article written. I haven't seen it on Twitter. I haven't seen it on Facebook. I need to ask you people, you men and women who donated and protested, I have to ask you, have the Patriots thanked you for that? I mean, we see them thank you for, for being there when the Super Bowl and thank you for the playoffs and tough times like that. But I haven't seen not once the Patriots thank you for donating to them the $2.6 billion-dollar franchise Patriots, I have not seen them thank their fans for such a thing. You're so quick to throw out your fanhood and say, I'm a fan, and yet your own franchise doesn't fucking recognize you. You understand that, right? This is why you don't need to help them. They got that. That's not even, $1 million is a drop in the bucket to them. Okay? And for you to sit here and you've got to be fucked. That is fucking embarrassing. And you know what? At that point, I understand people don't feel any, sympathy for Patriots fans. But Patriots fans, those who are against, they don't deserve that. Now, there's some Patriots fans who do believe they cheated. And then sometimes they're saying, hey, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? They know the history. They know what's going on. But I don't think they deserve, that type of, that scrutiny that you have a couple idiots come out of nowhere and just be like, we're going to go protest. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's what you protest over, though. That's what you protest. That's what got you off your ass to go and protest. Okay. All right. Yeah. You know what? Let's move on. Because that's, like I said, it's fucking embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassing, I want to move on to the EPL. That's right. Football overseas. Let's go. I had a chance to sit down and watch Arsenal versus Manchester United. Yeah. And you know what? When I saw this, this matchup, I thought to myself, Arsenal's going to run away with this. That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be really a no contest, especially the way Man United has played as of late. So when it happened, when it started off, I was like, okay, this is looking somewhat bad. And then Manchester United scored, and I was like, oh, fuck this. Fuck this. You know what I mean? And as we know, the game ended in a tie. We know that. But the most disappointing part this weekend of EPL is that nobody was relegated. And I have to say this due to the fact that last week we knew that QPR was already relegated, and they had to play spoiler to other people, which they did. We also know that, Burnley was relegated. So everyone was just sitting and waiting to see if Hull Silly, you might as well call him Hull Silly. Hull Silly, not Hull City, Hull Silly. You know what I mean? That they should have been relegated. We were just sitting and waiting. And then we saw all these other teams getting to safety, you know what I mean, from being relegated. We saw Leicester, going to safety, so they'll be back next year. We saw Aston Villa going to safety, so they'll be back next year. So we're just sitting and waiting. And then nothing happens. Now, here's the bad part about everything, okay? Because next week, this week, I should say coming up for games, is Champions Week. They are going to have, at least here, they're going to have soccer. They're going to have it on like 6 different channels. You can't keep up with this stuff. Like, why would you have it so heavy on the back end? It's beyond me to wait to see who's going to go into relegation. That makes no sense to me. Something has to be done. I understand it's Champions Week, but when you're spreading games between 6 different channels, and some of these games are going to be played at the same time, it's almost like they did on Sunday, yesterday, when they were showing, they showed 3 different games, and they had, was it Saturday or Sunday? One of those. 3 different games, and then they had 3 different boxes on one screen, so they kept panning in and out so you can see what's going on. Like, you can't watch a game that way. I understand sometimes you can have a game break, which I don't have a problem with, but when you're at the heat of a moment where someone's getting ready to score and they pan away from it to go to a different game, yeah, I'm pissed off. Because God knows what's getting ready to happen. You don't know. Why would you pan away one of the most dramatic moments? When they get closer and closer to scoring, you don't pull away from the TV. You don't do that. You don't even blink. You may miss something. And let alone them take away the entire game from you so that you can go to a different team and see what's going on there. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's uncalled for. And the fact that it's going to be spread between 6 different channels, you know how hard it's going to be to try to keep up? It's almost going to be impossible. It's almost going to be impossible. It is. So I just feel that was the worst part of this. Now, like I said last week, even though we're talking about relegation, let's talk about promotions. As we know, Watford has been promoted, and to be quite honest, Watford wouldn't have been promoted if it wasn't for Fulham. Because for those who don't know, Fulham scored, I believe it was on Middlesbrough. What is it? I believe it was Middlesbrough, and they won their game, which helped them get promoted. Also, I want to talk about this. Bournemouth, they made it to EPL as well. They've been promoted as well for the 2nd spot, and they went and celebrated in Vegas with a bunch of women in bikinis. It was pretty funny. So, we're still waiting for the 3rd spot since we don't know if Hull Silly is going to be, is going to be relegated. We don't know yet, even though it's looking close to it. And now I have to ask you fans, who would you like to see get promoted? Personally, I'm looking at, Derby County. That's what I want to say. I want to say Derby County. They've been pushing since, I believe, April. They've been pushing. Some would say even, March, and they had a little slump slightly in January. So I would think that Derby County would get the nod, but we shall see. Like I said, it's up to you who you think is going to get pushed. I would like to hear your comments, you know, and your suggestions on, you know, who you think would make it to the third, you know, the final spot to get promoted. But speaking of promotions, I want to talk about this right now. For those who don't know, the NCAA has promoted their rules. Thank God they promoted their rules, all right, because now they're actually giving college players somewhat of a slight difference, because there's been 4 recognizable, I should say, noticeable rule changes in this coming season for NCAA basketball. That's right. So let's take a look at that real quick. Now, out of those 4 noticeable rules, I have a problem with 2 of those. Now, I will say this. I don't have a problem with the 3-point arc being expanded, which is fine with me. I think it should have been expanded a long time ago. Also, I don't have a problem with adding a foul to a player, so you know they get an extra foul. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the 30-second shot clock. Now, I put it like this. If you want to get these players ready for NBA, I'm surprised you just go full tilt and just give them a 24-second shot clock. Why you would go to a 30-second shot clock is beyond me. You should have really just went to the 24-second shot clock so they can get a real feel for it. Because the difference between 24 and 30 is a big difference when you're playing on the court. It's a big difference. Now, also, I want to say this as well. I'm reading this right off the thing the image you just saw. Remove 1 team timeout in the second half to focus on quickly resuming play. I have a problem with that because the team should not be punished for having an extra timeout. If you want to remove timeouts, how about you remove TV timeouts? Oh, that's too much like right? Because, you know, you don't want to hurt your sponsors and all that type of stuff, right? So the TV timeouts, when you have these little quick timeouts, you run into, the commercials, because there are TV timeouts for those who don't know, okay? They really don't affect the teams that much when it comes to those type of timeouts. And not every broadcast station also runs commercials during official timeouts. We've seen this before. We've seen this in the NFL many times. I believe Jeff Fisher came out one time and was told by referees, hey, can you take a timeout because we need to run some TV ads? And he was like, no. And then they had to push a TV timeout. So it goes to show you that's where you see these type of delays when it comes to timeout. They get extra time. Or he's like, why is the refs taking so long to spot the ball? Things of that nature. Because they don't know how long it's taking for the broadcast booth to get their commercials in. It's the same thing when you watch hockey. Anyone who's been to a hockey game, if you notice, when they have those breaks, you ever see that red lamp that comes on during breaks, you don't know what's going on? That's because they're running commercials. That's why. They're taking a break. So it goes to show you, that's not during a timeout or anything. As you know, in hockey, they don't really have any timeouts unless you a coach actually calls it. You know this, okay? So when you see those breaks and that red lamp comes on, when you're at the games, that means they're having a TV timeout. They need to take a break for that. It goes to show you that TV timeouts can slow a game down, but they're not being punished. You know what I mean? The advertisers aren't being punished. The broadcast isn't being punished. No, it's the teams that are being punished. That same thing that's going on with the NCAA. I have a problem with that as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Now also, let's move on to what I also have a problem with. It's more basketball. Let's talk about the Griffin Force Flop of the Week. We're going to do this one by one. That's right. My candidate, all right, or should I say people, even you guys were getting to me on Twitter about this, James Harden, all right? Not only am I going to show one Griffin Force Flop of the Week for you for what you did yesterday in quarters 3 and 4. No. I have to show you a medley of flopping from James Harden. I'm going to break this down one by one because it's absolutely ridiculous. So let's start with the first one because, mind you, this is only in quarters 3 and 4. This is not even the entire game.
That's not the man they want to foul. Harden trying to sell it. And they do find this ball after Harden released the ball. That foul is committed. That's not what.
Now, while they are touch fouls, and you're going to see this throughout the entire time, while it's a foul, it's the way he flails. We have talked about this time and time again with James Harden when it comes down to, people touching him and him just overreacting. We saw it. Now, he made the Griffin Force Flop of the Week before. Was it a month or so ago? Where his coach just tapped him like this. He's like, hey, what's going on? He tapped him on the shoulder. James Harden was like, Like, there's no reason for that whatsoever. So, yes, it's a foul, but it's the way he acts to get that foul, to draw that foul. That is, I should call it a fail. Not a foul anymore, a fail. All right, because it's a flail. It's a failing flail. That's what it is, a flail. Because it's absolutely ridiculous that you're going to sit here and act that way over a touch. But that's not all. Let's look at the next one.
Harden just 1 for his last 8 from the field. Paul, Harden trying to draw a shot.
James Harden is 6'5" and 225 pounds. Don't tell me that slight little elbow, that little nudge, that little forearm is going to make you fly 5 feet. You've got to be kidding. Stay on your feet, man. Let's go to the next one.
Tooth and nail. But his team unable to get stops. And Harden Draws the foul on DeAndre Jordan. Slides into the basket stand.
Myself. No, it wasn't. We got before the acting.
Anybody can see James Harden's holding on to DeAndre Jordan's arm. He's holding on to it. And then you're going to throw yourself on the ground? You got to be kidding me, man. See, this is the shit that pisses me off because this is not basketball. This is what you call being dramatic and acrobatics and flopping around. You know who used to do this a lot? Tony Parker, until he started getting hurt a lot and he couldn't do it anymore. We saw that during the playoffs, didn't we? This is the problem I'm having with James Harden right now because I really did like James Harden when he was with OKC. Then when he came to the Rockets, a lot of people said, oh, he can't put up those points he was doing when, he's the sixth man coming off the bench. And I thought to myself, I beg to differ. He can do that, but he wasn't flopping as much. Now it's part of his everyday damn routine. Let's move on to the next one.
The next time out. From the crowd here.
That's not even a hard foul. I mean, that's nothing.
Come on, man. It's not even that hard of a foul for you to be falling. Again, stay on your feet. You should know better. Matt Barnes is so damn skinny. No, I'm not trying to hear this, okay? You've got to be kidding me that you're just going to fall down after, look. Even the crowd reacted and said, at the time that, Matt Barnes, he should have been teched or he should have been, there should have been a flagrant. No, it wasn't that hard of a foul. We talked about this on Twitter. Wasn't that hard of a foul. Don't let it get to you. You know what I mean? You're just getting all in the drama because that's what he is. He's a drama queen. Let's move on to the next one, which is the most disgusting one as of yet.
Reddick, the fourth foul.
I'd like to see that one more time.
Did he foul after?
Maybe on the elbow right there.
Reddick didn't.
So as you saw when they showed it in their touch, it was a slight touch on the elbow and a slight touch on the hip. You're going to tell me that's going to make him fall back and fly back 5 feet. Man, chalk this shit up for really what it is. It's the worst flopping I have seen in the playoffs so far, and I will put it like this. Does that stop the Rockets' credibility from beating the Clippers? No, not at all, because the Clippers choked away a 3-1 series lead. So as far as I'm concerned, the Clippers, you had no excuses this year. The Spurs were going, because that's what we heard, right? Spurs were eliminated. This is the Clippers' time. There was no excuses. Now we have Golden State and the Rockets, not to mention, all right, another choke job with the Bulls, because the Bulls were up at one point, all right? And then they choked it away as far as I'm concerned, because you can't let the Cavs in that game, in your hometown, in your city, in your arena, and you play like that, Bulls? Really? That's how you play? No, you deserve to lose. So as far as I'm concerned, the teams that are in these, their conference finals, respective conference finals, they deserve to be there. Golden State deserves to be there, all right, because we saw what they did with Memphis, all right? The Rockets, they proved they deserve to be there as opposed to, what happened with the Clippers and choking away everything. And then we also have Cleveland who beat, the Bulls. And I know a lot of people still, to this day, question everything that Atlanta has been doing against Washington. And we saw what happened with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce just not stop. And as we know, that game could have went into overtime if it wasn't for him letting go of the ball at that 0 second. If he'd have did it a fifth of a second, if that, if he'd have let it go faster, it would have been in overtime, and God knows what would have happened. So as far as I'm concerned, the Cavs are going to have a tough time, especially since they're injured and have all these problems, with the full squad as Atlanta. But as we know, Atlanta has a tendency to shoot themselves in the foot. We've seen this, all right? We also know that the Rockets are going to have problems with matchups when it comes to Golden State. Because who do you put on Curry and who do you put on, Curry, you got Curry and you have Klay Thompson. Who are you going to put on them? Because you got to think, Beverly, he didn't even play for the Rockets. He's their best defensive guy. He didn't play for the Rockets this series. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going to happen with him. Who are you going to put Harden? Are you going to put Harden on, on Curry? If that's the case, then you're going to leave that shooting for it. It's going to be tough, especially, with the Rockets. But I will put it like this also. That hero of that game, if you ask me, because a lot of people love to give, Prigioni or whatever, who used to play for the Knicks. I still don't like him. I don't think he's a good point guard. He played adequate, and I say that, adequate, as opposed to how he played in New York. He played adequate. He actually hustled and passed the ball. Yeah, he played adequate. That's what he did. I still don't think he's that good of a point guard. However, the hero of Houston, that game, Trevor Ariza, not getting enough credit. You've got to be kidding me. I think for them to get rid of Parsons and replace him with Trevor Ariza, that was a good move. I had said earlier in the season, what did I say? Sixers, go get Trevor Ariza. And you couldn't go get him. You wouldn't go get him. So, yeah. Go figure. He probably wouldn't want to come here anyway. So, it goes to show you. I mean, I really think there's going to be some matchup problems when it comes to Golden State and Houston. I just don't know how they're going to deal with things. Dwight Howard is also going to be a force down there. Josh Smith is going to be a force down there. Like I said, it's going to be a really good matchup as far as I'm concerned. But as you know, when it comes to Golden State, you're going to have to defend that key. You're going to have to defend that arc because those boys can shoot. And we've seen that time and time again. They also can play inside too, but they can play. I think Golden State's biggest problem is going to be defending Dwight Howard. As long as James Harden doesn't get a lot of touch fouls or flail, we should see a good series. I think both series are going to be really good. So hopefully everyone tunes in to watch those. Like I said, don't take them too seriously. Because, like I said, the only time I get mad, as you can see, is at the flopping. Other than that, I don't care who wins. I just want to see some good competition. I really do. As opposed to ref calls and things of that nature. So, let's move on. Let's talk boxing. And I want to talk about this, what happened Saturday night. For those who don't know, Gennady Golovkin fought, Monroe. All right? Willie Monroe. Now, I want to talk about this real quick due to the fact that we all thought this fight would not last that long. And it really didn't last that long. However, within those rounds, I'd say Willie Monroe won one round, okay? He got knocked out pretty quickly. But here's the problem. Gennady Golovkin, he comes out and he does his thing, as he usually does. As we know, a lot of people are ducking Golovkin. We know that, right? So, what does Golovkin do? Which, I'll leave it up to you whether you feel as though it was purposely done or Monroe really just got into a rhythm, okay? For what he says about Monroe, because for those who don't know, Golovkin is leading on these scorecards, and in this one round, Monroe just pretty much destroys Golovkin. He does. In one round, I mean, he's hitting Golovkin with like 8 hit combos like to the head, and Golovkin's just taking it. Max Kellerman is like, Golovkin looks gassed because the way he was throwing punches. And I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, he doesn't look like he's, technically sound. He's chasing. He's throwing a lot of big punches. He's not catching them. Listen to what Golovkin says after the fight, after he knocks out Monroe. Listen to what he says on why that happened.
I feel great. My performance special for you guys. Thank you for my team. Thank you for my opponent. He's bringing this very good drama show. This present just for you. Thank you.
Gennady, in the first 2 rounds, he barely touched you. You landed very precisely. You hurt him. You almost had him out in the second round. Then as the fight wore on, he started catching you with a lot of big shots. What changed?
Max, first of all, I showed him who is number one, who is real champ. This is my home. This is my home. Second step. I give him chance. I'm stay here. Just come on. Bring big drama show. Let's go. Let's do it. And thank you. I know I not lose control. I don't lose control. This is my big present.
Are you saying that because you've hinted at this in the past, that you don't want to just score an early one-sided knockout, that you actually let your opponent, a dangerous fighter, back into the fight?
Yes, of course. I feel this comfortable. And today, Saturday night, this is not 5 minutes. This is not 5 minutes. A lot of people come and just respect my people. I show my people. Just show.
One outcome of him getting out of that second round and hitting you a bunch of times is that everyone gets a better show. Another is...
My pleasure. Great fighter. Thank you. Special thank you for Willie. He is a real good fighter, seriously.
Another outcome is maybe some other star fighters in the sport see this and think, Golovkin's not so hard to hit. Maybe I want to fight him. Does that go through your mind at all in these fights?
Max, look at this. I'm stay here. I'm real champion. I show just present. I want unification. Big fight. Let's go. Let's do it, guys. Who is number one right now? Let's bring him. I show you.
Now look, a lot of us boxers do that at times. We say, come on, hit me. Well, just to get a feel for it, because we want you to let you know you can hit me with your best shot, and I'm still coming forward, and that does nothing. You know what I mean? I've tasted your best shot, and that's it. But what Golovkin did was he took a number of big shots and kept coming. Now, I don't know if anyone wants to say, well, it's Golovkin, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. But could you imagine if Willie Monroe was a serious big puncher and Golovkin did that, there would be a problem. You know what I mean? I don't know if you want to give your chin up that much, as you know what I mean, as opposed to just saying, okay, come on, hit me once or twice. You know what I mean? Come on, let me take your best shot. You know, one of your best shots. Okay, that's nothing. That's all you got. Okay, I'm gonna keep coming. Then you had your chance. That's it. What he did was he pretty much took up a whole round and let Monroe just beat the hell out of him. He peppered the hell out of him the entire time with big shots, and it didn't like his head was snapped back, but you can tell Golovkin wasn't hurt at any time. You can tell that. So, though it's kind of risky to do, some could say it's stupid because you're supposed to, not get hit. You're not supposed to get hit. Well, as opposed to people saying, you know what, that's kind of genius to bait somebody that way. And like Kellerman said, it's one of those things where maybe other people are watching and saying, hey, this guy isn't that hard to hit. I want a chance at it and see what he can do and get a bigger payday. So there's some strategy involved, you know what I mean? But, I don't know, man. I mean, it's one thing to take one or two big shots and be like, all right, that's the best you got, all right. As opposed to an entire round where this guy's countering. I mean, he's hitting him with some big counters and some big shots. But like I said, there's not enough power in Monroe to hurt Golovkin because, like I said, his head's snapping back, but he's not hurt. Like I said, I will leave it up to you whether you feel as though that was a smart move or it's a stupid move. However, I can only feel as though if Golovkin had tried that with a bigger guy, that could cause some serious problems. But of course, maybe it would raise Golovkin to say, okay, I think I've taken enough punches. Let's just get this on now. Now that we have a high-drama fight, it brings crowds. Because as we've seen as of late, if you notice, since Mayweather-Pacquiao and fans are like, we didn't get the fight that we wanted a slugfest, we've seen 2 big dramatic fights so far. 2. And that's the one with, Golovkin, as you said, with Monroe. And then we saw last week, did we not, with Alvarez and Kirkland. So you're getting what I guess boxers are taking a cue and saying, hey, this is what people want to see. We're going to give them a show on top of a boxing lesson. So it's said that you have to appeal to the entertainment because the fighting part of it is supposed to be the entertainment. But the fact that this guy is pretty much putting down his hands and letting you punch him, which if you ask Andre Ward, if you ask Carl Froch, if you ask a number of people, you're not supposed to get it. You don't want to be known for taking a big punch because that can shorten your career span. It can, all right? Get your brain scrambled. It can happen. But it's just, I guess it's one of those things Golovkin just, like you said, Max Kellerman said, he's been hinting at it, and now we finally saw it, if you believe that's what he was really doing, or if he was really gassed. Because it's one thing to take those punches, but to see how Golovkin would react, and see as though he was throwing a lot of, like he said he wasn't getting, he wasn't getting out of control. I felt as though he was at one point getting out of control. He was lunging a lot when it came to that round, just to try and, throw punches. That's what it felt like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I will leave it up to you. Anyways, I will talk to you later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.